Welcome students. Today in the previous part of this lecture we have discussed the front view and top view of this object in first angle of projection. Now in this part of the lecture we will learn how to draw those two views on the grid sheet. So the very first step is that we should draw a continuous thick line as a reference line on the paper. Draw this line around 15 centimeter and on left hand label capital X, on the right hand label capital Y in Gothic style, and mention VP above the reference line and HP below the reference line because we have to solve this problem in first angle of projection and we should mention this in Gothic style. Over here I have constructed front view and top view of this object by continuous thin lines so that I can save the time of this particular video. So when I will explain the steps to you, then there will be no need for me to actually measure the dimensions, so that will help me to save the time. Okay, now let us start with the front view of this object. In the lecture we have discussed that in the front view we have to draw this U-shaped face and these two curved faces as a rectangular faces in the front view. So let us start with the drawing of this U shape first, and let us start from this corner, which is the lower left corner. So what we will do, we will leave one row gap or 10 millimeters gap from the reference line, and we will align our scale with this particular row of these dots, and from this corner we will sketch a length of 44 millimeters. So we will measure it from the scale, and from this corner we will draw a continuous thick line of 44 millimeters. Then after that what we can do, we can draw vertical lines at both ends of that line, and the height of that line will be 48 millimeters. So from these 2 points we will sketch vertical lines of 48 millimeters, and these must be continuous thick. So after this we have to sketch this length of this face, which is 8 millimeters given to us. So measure 8 millimeters from these 2 points. Then we know from this particular point we have to sketch a vertical line of 40 millimeters, that is 48 minus 8 millimeters. So this will be 48 on both sides. So from both the ends we will sketch vertical lines of 48 millimeters. Sorry, 40 millimeters. So similarly from this end, vertical line of 40 millimeters. You have to measure it from scale. So after that we will sketch this length of 28 millimeters, or we can say we will join these 2 points with continuous thick line, that will be equal to 28 millimeters. So we are ready with the drawing of the first face. Now we have to construct the drawing of this curved face, and in the lecture we have discussed that for this face we have to draw a rectangle whose length will be 15 and height will be equal to diameter, that is 24. But before that we have to locate this face, and in the lecture we have discussed that its center is at 20 millimeters from the top face. So what we will do, from this face we will measure 20 millimeters and we will mark a point here. Similarly from this end we will measure 20 millimeters and we will mark a point here. Then we will align our scale with respect to those 2 points carefully, and we will sketch 2 center lines first by using chain thin line. So in chain thin line we draw longer dash as 10 millimeters and short dash is of 1 millimeters, and gap between the 2 dashes is also 1 millimeters. And for these 2 faces we will draw separate center lines. See, we are not connecting these 2 center lines. Why? Because this center line is for this particular part only, because object is not symmetric about the horizontal axis, you can say. Fine, that's why we will not connect it in the middle. Now after that, what we will do, we will draw this face. So the diameter is 24. So for that, what we will do, from the center line, we will measure 12 mm on both sides. So mark a point, then from center line, mark a point at 12 mm this side. Then align your scale in horizontal position with respect to that point and sketch a length of 15 millimeters. Similarly, from this point, which is marked at 12 millimeters from the center line, sketch a length of 15 millimeters. Then we will connect these 2 points and we will get the front view of this face. Similarly, on the other side, from the center line, we will measure 12 millimeters, mark a point. Then below the center line, measure 12 millimeters, mark a point. Then align your scale at that point in vertical position, or you can say align your scale with this length. It will help you to align the scale in horizontal position easily. Then from this point, draw a length of 15 millimeters. Measure it from scale. Similarly, from this point, align your scale at that point in horizontal position, or you can say align with this length. Then from this point, draw a horizontal line of 15 millimeters. Then we will connect these 2 points. So we will get the front view of this face. Now after this, what we will do, we have to sketch hidden lines for this hole, and this hole is in these 2 plates for 15 mm plus 8 mm length, and its diameter is 14. So what we will do, from this center line we will measure 7 mm this side, and from same center line measure 7 mm on other side, and align your scale at that point in horizontal position. You can check whether your scale is horizontal or not with respect to these dots. So you can see distance between this dot and scale over here, and distance between this dot and scale over here is approximately same, so scale is horizontal. And we will draw a dashed medium line of 3 mm length of the dash and 1.5 mm gap between the 2 dashes. Then we will align our scale with the point marked at 7 millimeters from the center line, and we will align it in horizontal position, and again we will draw a dash medium line, and the length of each dash will be 3 millimeters and gap is 1.5 millimeters. Then after that, we will repeat same procedure on the other side, because we have another hole on other side also. So align your scale with this line. No need to measure 7 from the center line because we have the lines over here. So just align your scale with that line and construct a dash medium line on this side. Similarly, over here, align your scale with this line and draw dash medium line on this side. So you can see we are ready with the hidden holes. Now we have to draw this hole as hidden in this face, and in the lecture we learned that it is exactly in the center of this face. So over here the length of this face is 28, so at 14 mm we will mark a point, and from that point, or you can say we should mark one more point here, total is 44, so at 22 mark a point, so you will get 2 points. You can easily line your scale and draw a center line at that point. Then after that we have to sketch this hole as hidden hole, and diameter of the hole is 10 millimeters. So from the center line we will measure 5 millimeters on both sides and we will mark point, and from those points we will sketch dash medium lines to show the hidden hole. So you can see we are ready with this hidden hole also. Now we are ready with the front view. Now what is the next step? In the next step, we will align our scale carefully with the points of the front view, and we will sketch projection lines in downward direction. From here as well, we will sketch another projection line. Then from this point, this step is very important. We have to draw projection lines thin, parallel to each other, and perpendicular to the reference line. So from all the points of the front view, sketch projection lines. So this is a very important step. Okay, now we will draw its top view. Now in the lecture we have discussed that in the top view we have to represent 5 faces: face 1, face 2, face 3 and these two curved faces. Now we said that pick one face first, pick any one point of that face and locate that point in the front view and select the projector. So if we pick this point, this face, and they pick this point, and this point is just behind this one, so that point is over here, it means we will select this projector. So leave around 10 millimeters gap from reference line, mark a point on this projector, and from this point I can start the drawing of this face. Now over here we have to make one very important observation, that face 1, 2 and 3, all three faces have same width 36, and if we add their total length, so this is 8, this is 28, this is again 8, so if we will add their length, we will get total length as 44. So we can say we can construct a box from this point of 44 length and 36 width. So from this point we will sketch a box. So from here we will sketch thick line of 44 millimeters, which is the total length of these three faces. Then from these 2 points we will sketch thick vertical line of 36 width. So from this point as well. Then we will connect these 2 points with continuous thick line. So what we did over here, we have plotted the boundary of these 3 faces. Means we have plotted this edge, then we have plotted this edge, this and this edge. Then again we have plotted this boundary and we have connected these 2 points. So we got the box. Now we have to represent these 3 faces. It is very easy. Now you can see this face is over here in the front view, this face is here and this face is here. So from these 3 faces we have already taken projectors. Fine. So if I have to plot this face, means this face, what I need to do, I simply have to draw a line on this projector as a continuous thick line. So this is that face. Similarly, on this projector I have to draw a continuous thick line. So this is that face, and this face is automatically represented in between. So you can see we have constructed these 3 faces. Now in order to construct these 2 curved surfaces, in the lecture we have discussed that first of all we will draw the center line. Now total width is 36. So what we will do, at 18 millimeters we will mark a point, then this side at 18 millimeters we will mark a point, then we will line those 2 points to construct a center line. And one important observation we have to make, that object is symmetric about this horizontal center line. So we can draw complete center line over here, parallel to the reference line. Now this center line will help us to draw the other features of the object, means these 2 faces. So if you have to represent this curved face, in the lecture we have learned that again we have to draw width of that face as 24 equal to diameter, and length of that face will be 15, or moreover you can say see over here that from this face we have taken projector, so up to that projector will be 15 mm. The only thing is from the center we have to measure 12 mm on both sides. So we will line our scale with the center line, measure, mark a point at 12 mm this side and 12 mm on other side. Then from those 2 points we will sketch thick horizontal lines up to this projector. So that will be automatically 15 millimeters. Then we will connect these 2 points. Similarly on the other side, so align with this particular line only. So up to this projector construct 2 lines, then join these 2 lines with another vertical line. So you can see we are ready with these 2 faces in the top view. Now after that what we will do, we will show these holes as hidden holes. So same method, from the center line we'll mark a point at 7 millimeters this side and 7 millimeter this side, because the diameter of this hole is 14. Then we will align our scale in horizontal position at that point and we will draw dashed medium line in both the plates. Similarly at this point as well. Make sure scale should be horizontal. So same we have to repeat on the other side. That means we will align our scale with this line and we will draw a dash medium line on other side also, but align your scale properly so that it should be in horizontal position. Then align with this dash medium line and repeat this side. So you can see we are ready with those hidden holes also. Now we have to plot this hole in the center. So we have already taken projectors from the hole marked in the front view. Take projector from the center line also, or what you can do, you can draw directly a small center line inside the view which will give you the center of the hole, because we have already drawn the horizontal center line. Then after that what we will do, we will use compass, open compass equal to 5 millimeters. So diameter is very small, it is 10 millimeter only, so we have to open compass to 5 millimeter radius and carefully construct the circle. You can repeat it 1 or 2 times so that it should be thick. So we are ready with the circle. After this what we will do, we will erase the extra projectors. And we will erase those projectors which are within the view. Now we are ready with both the views, that is front view and top view. So after this we have to place the dimensions. So let us first place its length. Total length is how much? It is 44 plus 15 plus 15. So 44 plus 30. 1 millimeter gap, thin line. 1 millimeter gap, thin line. Then we will place the length of 74 millimeters. In Gothic style we will write 74. Now after that we can place this dimension, it is 44. So line your scale with this one. 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. Over here 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. Then draw another dimension line over here. So we will say this is 44 millimeters. Right, in Gothic style. Then after that we can place this diameter. So from the circle, from the diametric end draw a continuous thin line. So from this diametric end draw another continuous thin line. and over here we can place its diameter by placing a dimension line. So we can say it is 510 in Gothic style. So after this, what we can do, we can place these dimensions as well, or we can place this dimension at the top. So let us place this length dimension at the top. 1 meter gap, continuous thin line. 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. So we can place this length as 28 millimeters. Add closed field arrows on both sides. So this is how much? This is 28. Now you can see we have this dimension 44. 44 minus 28 divided by 2. So we can calculate these two lengths. There is no need to place separately for these two lengths. Okay, after this, what we have to do? We have to place width dimensions. So what is the total width of the object? It is 36. So 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. From here, 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. And over here we can place its total width as 36. Add closed field arrows on both sides. So over here in Gothic style we will write 36. Now after this we can place this diameter. So that we can place here. Let us erase this part of the center line. This much is sufficient. So let us place this diameter. 1 meter gap, continuous thin line. 1 millimeter gap over here, continuous thin line, and over here we will place its diameter. So it is given to us as how much? It is 24 millimeters. So over here we will write 524 millimeters. Now we have to show this internal hole also, that we can place this side. 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. Over here 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. Then leave around 10 millimeters gap, continuous thin line. Place arrows on both sides. So over here we will write 514 in Gothic style. So after this, what we will do? We will place height dimensions. How much is the total height of the object? Total height is 48. So 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. From here 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. So leave around 30 millimeter gap, then place dimension line. So we'll add closed field arrowheads on both sides carefully. So we'll write it as 48 in Gothic style. So after this we need to place this height. It is 8 millimeters. So 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. Then from the center line leave 1 millimeter gap, continuous thin line. Then draw a common dimension line over here for these two dimensions. This is 8, and from top face it is 20, center line. So place both the dimension lines over here. It is a chain dimensioning, total is combined dimensioning. So over here we will write it is 20 in Gothic style. And over here we will mention it is 8. So we have placed height dimensions, we have placed width dimensions, and we have placed length dimensions also. So I hope the answer of this particular question is clear to you. Thank you very much.